Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video episode on Forgotten Weapons. Today we're taking a look at one of the early U.S. Army experimental bolt-action rifles. This is a Ward-Burton. It's a single shot, chambered for the 50/70 cartridge, which was a standard Army issue at the time. Designed by two U.S. Army generals, obviously, Ward and Burton. And this was actually trialed by the U.S. military. About 1,000, specifically 1,011 of these rifles were manufactured at Springfield Arsenal. Also several hundred carbines. Manufactured in 1871 for the 1871 rifle trials. Ultimately, they didn't do all that well. Interestingly, they didn't do well in large part because the men who were, or the commanders of the units who were testing these simply were not familiar and comfortable with bolt-action mechanisms. They were used to guns with large exposed hammers, where it was really easy to tell if you had a rifle cocked or not, whether it was safe or not. And a bolt action, like this one, you just couldn't see that, and they didn't like that fact. Now, mechanically, this isn't really the world's greatest bolt action either. The locking is accomplished by an interrupted thread here. It's a 90-degree throw, and you can see the locking threads there at the rear end of the bolt. It's a cock-on closing design. Pretty simple. Push the bolt in, rotate to lock. And then this little button right here is the safety. There is, if we look at the front of the bolt, down there at the very bottom we have a little plunger extractor, or a plunger ejector, and then extractor at the top, firing pin in the middle. Mechanically pretty simple gun. There were some mechanical problems with them when they were initially built. They weren't done to really the highest quality, unfortunately, and there were some problems with parts breakage. But in general, the reason that these weren't adopted was simply a general unfamiliarity with the bolt-action system. And it would take another 20 or 30 years before the U.S. military finally warmed up to that. You can see a little U.S. stamp on the butt plate there. These did get issued to units for trials. The Yellowstone expedition had some of these. The 13th Infantry was the main unit that got them. And they reported some accidents, negligent accidental discharges, because guys just weren't familiar with it. So as a result, the Ward-Burton didn't go any farther and consigned to places like Forgotten Weapons. So, thanks for watching, guys. Tune in again for more interesting early bolt actions.